To the community, it was bloody massive. Like you used to have the station master, the assistant station master, and a couple of porters, and then you had the drivers and the guard and the firemen, and then you had the navvies, like about 13 families in the navvies. They maintained the railway track.
Blokes that worked on them railways always seemed to be like shearers to me, big and strong men. They were unbelievable. You'd be driving down the old Durham-Bandy Road and you'd see them just stretched out, 5 or 6 of them along the railway track, swigging hammers and fellas carrying sleepers and things like that.
My name's Wayne Lucia and I'm a second generation railway worker, doing navvy work, general maintenance of railway tracks. Well, top and lining, which is topping, we had to straighten it out, and lining was, kink sort of thing. We used to use bars, and we'd pull the track across, or we used jacks, to jack the track up to make the line level, and pack it with a shovel, pack all the ballast underneath it with the shovel.
The washouts out here at the Briery, I remember going out to those when we used to have the floods and that, and learned how to build it back up out there with sleepers underneath it, just so we can get the line open again. That was quite interesting actually, slopping around out there in the water and putting sleepers, old sleepers and that, in a pigsty formation to get up underneath the railway before we could get a ballast train out to put more ballast underneath there that's been washed out in the floods. So, and that was out here at the Briery, but also back over near Torwood and that too. We had to go all the way over there because the Gundy boys couldn't get out that way. So we had to go that way. So
we had sections to do, probably 60, 80 Ks, and then the other gang to take over then, they'd have 60, 80 or 100 Ks. We used to travel those little section cars, we call them, and the smallest one, there's 2, one either side, so, that's the way we got around.
Wayne, did you ever have a pumper, the 2 men, one each end pushing it down?
No, that was too much work in that.
I worked with Bill and went away and then came back and I worked on the railway for about 8 or 9 months as a lab porter. The goods shed, that used to be chock-a-block full of everything. You had trucks coming from St George that you'd load with furniture, you name it, cars, groceries, everything, anything. And there used to be a mob from Mungandai used to come over and do basically the same thing. And, that was my job, you just had to keep track of everything. And we were 3 cents short. It took us about 2 weeks to find 3 cents. We couldn't just put it in. You just had to find it. Anyway, we did. The train would pull up and then it'd shunt the wagons and everything. And if it was a passenger train, which they usually had a wagon on the arse end, people would be getting on and off or whatever, so they'd go through the Durham-Bandy and then they'd shunt it all up, hook back up and away that'd go.
Shunters were the blokes that stay in the yard all day, every day, and they just sort the trains, make the trains up. The diesel did that, all that, backed up, shunted to where we needed it, dropped them there. That was the guard's job on the train. He had 2-way with talking to the boss, to the driver, shunt the petrol bombs in, fuel bombs, do that job. Us wheat fellas and probably all the produce will be up there on the main line, sort of, on the little line beside it. They had a special line for that to shunt them in and do all us over there. That'd be a couple of hours some days.
Yeah.
If they had time, they'd take the wagons back, but whenever.
She's laid back.
Laid back then, yeah.